Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for joining in for our Chaitanya Charitamrita study session. Let's begin. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gauravakta Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gauravakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda जय द्वैता चंद्र जय गौरा भक्ता वृंदा ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रधायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकायै तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् आजानुलम्बितौ भुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायदाक्षौ विश्वाम्बरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ. Hare Krishna. So thank you for joining in for our Chaitanya Charitamrita study session today. We are on chapter number 2 of the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. And yesterday we were talking about how Krishna is the original Purusha, Sachidananda Vigraha. What is that verse? Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabhabritya. That means there is only one Ishvara, one supreme controller Krishna. Everyone else is his servants. Ete chamsha kalapum saha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Right? So, Ete chamsha kalapumsha. There may be several incarnations, but Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All of them are emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So again and again, the Lord appears in this material world to reclaim us back home, back to Godhead. And we also saw how Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, and Krishna in his fullest form can be realized when we understand who is Bhagavan. Right? Otherwise, Brahman and Paramatma are lower realizations of that supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So let's continue reading from text number 6 of chapter number 2 of the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahma Atma Bhagavana Anuvadatina Anga Prabhu Amsha Swarupa Tina Videya Chinna. Yes, Karpakali Mataji, go ahead. Synonyms?
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Synonyms? Brahma.
Hare Krishna.
Impersonal Brahman.
Brahma, the impersonal Brahma. The Atma, the localized Paramatma. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Amarvada, subjects. Tina, 3. Anga Prabha, bodily effulgence. Amsa, partial manifestation. Sarupa, original form. Tina, 3. Videva, Chinha, predicates. The impersonal translation, the impersonal Brahma, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of God are 3 subjects, and the glowing
effulgence.
Effulgence, the partial manifestation of the original form, are the 3 respective predicates. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, so we already saw this, right? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Anuvada Age Pache, Videya Stapana, say artha kahi shuna shastra vivarana. You can continue, Mataji. Karpakali Mataji. Read the synonyms
Yes, Mataji.
and translation
Uh,
until the purport comes, and we'll have the next person read. Yes.
okay, Mataji. Anuvada, the subject. Age, first.
Age.
Pache, after. Page, afterwards. Videya, the predicate. Uh, Stapana, placing. Say this. Artha, the meaning. Kahi, I speak. Suna, please listen. Sastra, Vivarana, to the description of the scriptures. Translation, a predicate always follows its subject. Now I shall explain the meaning of this verse according to the revealed scriptures.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Shall I
So, like,
continue?
I'm going to school, right? It's basic English. I is a subject. I'm going to school is a predicate. So, without the subject, the predicate has no meaning, isn't it? So, who's the subject? The subject matter is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The subject matter is Lord Sri Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Paratattva Purna Jnana Purna Ananda Parama Mahatva.
Continue, Mataji.
Swayam himself.
Swayam himself, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the Lord Krishna, Vishnu of all pervading Vishnu, Paratattva, the ultimate truth, Purna Jnana, full knowledge, Purna Ananda, full bliss, Parama Supreme, Mahatattva, the greatness. Translation, Krishna, the original form of the personality of God is a summum bonum of all pervading Vishnu. He is all perfect knowledge and all perfect bliss. He is the supreme transcendence.
Yeah, so we discussed
Thank
this.
you, Mother.
Even Vishnu is an avatar of Lord Sri Krishna, the Purusha avatar. We got talk about Garbhodha Kashaya Vishnu, Karanta Kashaya Vishnu, Shrita Kashaya Vishnu. They are all amshas or expansions of the Supreme Lord who is Krishna. Nanda Sutta Bali Vandre Bhagavate Gai Se Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Goshani.
Nanda Sutta, the son of the Nanda Maharaj, Bali as Yantre, who Bhagavate in Srimad Bhagavatam, Gai is sung. Say that Krishna, Lord Krishna, Avatina, descended, Chaitanya Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Translation, he whom Srimad Bhagavatam describes as the son of Nanda Maharaja has descended to earth as Lord Chaitanya. Thank you,
Purport.
Mataji. But according to the rules of the
Rhetorical arrangement.
rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature, a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. The Vedic literature frequently mentions Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhavan, and therefore these three terms are widely known as the subjects of the transcendental understanding. But it is not widely known that what is approached as the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental body. Nor is it widely known as the super soul of Paramatma, is only a partial representation of Lord Chaitanya, who is identical with Bhagavan himself. Therefore, the description of Brahma as the effulgence of Lord Chaitanya, the Paramatma as his partial representation, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as identical with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be verified by evidence from authoritative Vedic literatures. The author wants to establish first that the essence of the Vedas is Vishnu Tattva and the absolute truth Vishnu and the all-pervading Godhead. Vishnu Tattva has different categories, of which the highest is Lord Krishna. The ultimate Vishnu Tattva, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Vedic literature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described as Nanda Sudha, the son of King Nanda. Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami says that Nanda Sudha has again appeared as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he bases his statement on his understanding that the Vedic literature concludes that there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The author will prove if it is if it is thus proved that Sri Krishna is the origin of all tattvas, truths, named Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhavan, and there is no difference between Sri Krishna and Sri Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It will not be difficult to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the same origin of all tattvas. the same absolute truth as he is revealed to students of different realizations is called Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhavan. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So this is very wonderful. Right? There's Vasudeva Ghosh Bole Kore Joda Hat Jai Gaur Say Krishna Say Jagannath Jai Gaur Say Krishna Say Jagannath. So that Gauranga Mahaprabhu Neela Chale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadhar Nadiya Nagare Dhanda Kamandalukar के हो बोले पूरबे रावण बादिला गोलोकेर वैभव लीला प्रकाश कोरिला जय जय जगन्नाथ शचिरानंदान त्रिभुवने कोरिजार चरणवंदन. So in this song, Vasudeva Ghosh is singing श्री राधार भावे बे गौरावतार हरे कृष्णा नाम गौरा कोरिला प्रचार वासुदेव घोष बोले कोरी जोड़ा हाथ जय गौर से कृष्णा से जगन्नाथ. So Vasudev Ghosh is declaring the same Gauranga Mahaprabhu who is now appeared with a kamandalu and with a sannyasa danda. Right, the same Gauranga Mahaprabhu had appeared as Lord Shri Krishna, who is revealing the glories of Goloka Dham. And the same Lord Krishna, the same Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared as Lord Ram, right, who defeated Ravan. Right, so and Vasudeva Ghosh is declaring that that Gauranga Mahaprabhu has taken the mood, Shri Radhar Bhavebe Gaura Avatar, has taken the mood of Srimati Radharani and the complexion of Srimati Radharani. And Vasudeva Ghosh is declaring, Jai Gaur, say Krishna, say Jagannath. That same Gauranga Mahaprabhu is the same Lord Jagannath and is the same Lord Sri Krishna, who does various pastimes to actually attract this jivas or the living entities to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. So Vasudeva Ghosh bole, kore joda haath, Jai Gaur, say Krishna, say Jagannath, right? The same, they are non-different. Radha Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Right? Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are non-different. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna and Jagannath, they are also non-different. Because they are all appeared, they are all avataris. Right? They have incarnated to make the living entities understand their real position as the servant of the Lord. And especially Gauranga Mahaprabhu is a Mahavadanyaya, most merciful incarnation of the Lord, who has appeared simply to make all of us Krishna conscious in this age of Kali, like that. Okay, text number 10. Prakasha Vishesha Tena Dhariti Manama Brahma Paramatmara Swayam Bhagavan. Okay, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Pranams Mataji.
Synonyms, Hari Bhajila Prabhupada ki jai. Prakasha of manifestation. Visheshe in variety. Tenha, he, dhare, holds, tina, three, nama, names, Brahma, Brahman, Paramatma, Paramatma, Supersoul, Ara, and Swayam himself, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In terms of his various manifestations, he is known in three features called the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the original personality of Godhead. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagavan in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. The personality of Godhead, being full of all conceivable and inconceivable potencies, is the absolute supreme whole. Impersonal Brahman is a partial manifestation of the absolute truth realized in the absence of such complete potencies. The first syllable of the word Bhagavan is Bha, which means sustainer and protector. The next letter Ga means leader, pusher and creator. Va means dwelling. All living beings dwell in the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord dwells within the heart of every living being. Combining all these concepts, the word Bhagavan carries the import of inconceivable potency in knowledge, energy, strength, opulence, power, and influence, divide of all varieties of inferiority. Without such inconceivable potencies, one cannot fully sustain or protest. Our modern civilization is sustained by scientific arrangements devised by many great scientific brains. We can just imagine, therefore, the gigantic brain whose arrangements sustain the gravity of the unlimited number of planets and satellites and who creates the unlimited space in which they float. If one considers the intelligence needed to orbit man made satellites, one cannot be fooled into thinking that there is not a gigantic intelligence responsible for the arrangements of the various planetary systems. There is no reason to believe that all the gigantic planets float in space without the superior arrangement of a superior intelligence. This subject is clearly dealt with in the Bhagavad Gita 15.13, where the personality of Godhead says, I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit, where the planets are not held in the grip of the personality of Godhead, they would all scatter like dust in the air. Modern scientists can only impractically explain this inconceivable strength of the personality of Godhead. The potencies of the syllables ba, ga, and va apply in terms of many different meanings. Through his different potent agents, the Lord protects and sustains everything, but he himself personally protects and sustains only his devotees, just as a king personally sustains and protects his own children, while entrusting the protection and sustenance of the state to various administrative agents. The Lord is the leader of his devotees, as we learn from the Bhagavad Gita, which mentions that the personality of God it personally instructs his loving devotees how to make certain progress on the path of devotion and thus surely approach the kingdom of God. The Lord is also the recipient of all the adoration offered by his devotees, for whom he is the objective and the goal. For his devotees, the Lord creates a favorable condition for developing a sense of transcendental love of God. Sometimes he does this by taking away a devotee's material attachments by force and baffling all his material protective agents, for thus the devotee must completely depend on the Lord's protection. In this way, the Lord proves himself the leader of his devotees. The Lord is not directly attached to the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world, for he is eternally busy in the enjoyment of transcendental bliss with paraphernalia composed of his internal potencies. Yet, as the initiator of the material energy as well as the marginal potency, the living beings, he expands himself as the Purusha avatars who are invested with potencies similar to his. The Purusha avatars are also in the category of Bhagavat Tattva, because each and every one of them is identical with the original form of the personality of Godhead. The living entities are his infinitesimal particles and are qualitatively one with him. They are sent into this material world for and material enjoyment to fulfill their desires to be independent individual, but still they are subject to the supreme will of the Lord. The Lord deputes himself in the state of super soul to supervise the arrangements for such material enjoyment. The example of a temporary fair is quite appropriate in this connection. If the citizens of a state assemble in a fair to enjoy for a short period, the government deputes a special officer to supervise it. Such an officer is invested with all the governmental power, and therefore he is identical with the government. When the fair is over, there is no need for such an officer, and he returns home. The Paramatma is compared to such an officer. The living beings are not all in all. They are undoubtedly parts of the Supreme Lord and are qualitatively one with him. Yet they are subject to his control. Thus, they are never equal to the Lord nor one with him. The Lord who associates with the living being is the Paramatma or the Supreme Living Being. No one, therefore, should view the tiny living beings and the Supreme Living Being to be on an equal level. The all-pervading truth that exists eternally during the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, and in which the living beings rest in trance, is called the impersonal Brahman.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
So,
Krishna.
Haribol. So again, in detail, what is being explained here is the Achintya Abheda Veda Tattva concept. Achintya, why? Because it's inconceivable. Right? In this material world, if we know 1 is not equal to 2, then 1 cannot be equal to 2. That's it. We don't see any reason how 1 can be equal to 2 in certain aspects, and 1 is not equal to 2 in certain aspects, right? So it is very, very inconceivable to understand with our material brain how the Lord is equal to the living entities in certain aspects, and in certain aspects the Lord is not equal to the living entities, right? So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, that Achintya, it is inconceivable. Achintya, Beda, Abeda, simultaneous oneness and difference, right? We are equal to the Lord in terms of our quality of Sat Chit Ananda, and we are infinitesimal as compared to the Lord when we compare to the quantity. Right? There's a very beautiful example that is given by Srila Prabhupada and also described in the several scriptures talking about the spark of fire and the fire itself. The fire has a potency to burn the entire forest, right? Or the ocean has a potency to flood the entire city, right? But what is the potential of a drop of ocean or a drop of spark, right? The potential of a drop of spark is that when the air comes over it, when it falls down, that spark, the spark gets extinguished. Similarly, a drop of water, it cannot create any impact. It will just fall on the surface and it will just glide down. That's all. But what is the impact of the ocean, or what is the impact of a major fire that is occurring? Right? It damages the entire place, or it floods the entire place. So, like that, the potency or the quantity or the effect or the impact of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Jivatma are in relation to infinite and infinitesimal. Right? We have the same characteristics. We are also eternal because we are souls. We are eternal. We are knowledgeable. We also have knowledge, but we have very limited knowledge. And we are also blissful, right? Or rather, we want to be blissful, but because of our limited knowledge, because we are under illusion, we are not able to experience that ananda. So we are experiencing all of this, but with in limited quantities. So when we become devotees of the Lord, when we become pure devotees of the Lord, then we will be able to exercise greater freedom in terms of having knowledge like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Knowledge, we'll also understand that we can also experience the ananda that is experienced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but our ananda will be in serving the Lord. Right? Like about 2-3 days back we were studying Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead, that is Balaram, and Supreme Personality of Served Godhead, that is Supreme Personality of Served Godhead, and that is who? Krishna himself. Right? So we need to, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the Supreme Personality of Served Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is being served by the living entities, right? Through the spiritual master, who is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead, and through Balaram is the Adi Guru. So like that, we also have the same potencies, but we need to engage those potencies in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the Lord accepts our services, and in this way the Lord exhibits his potencies. The next verse is also going to talk about the 3 levels of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdyate. Okay, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. Synonyms. Vadanti.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Vedanti, they say. Tata, that. Tattva vidaha, learned souls. Tattvama, the absolute truth. Vata, which gnanama, knowledge. Advayama, non-dual, Brahman, iti thus Paramatma, iti thus Bhagwan, iti thus Sabdayate is known. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth, they say that it is a non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, the localized from Paramatma and the personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This Sanskrit verse appears at the 11th verse of the first canto, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sutta Goswami answers the question of the sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi concerning the essence of all the spiritual instructions. Tattva Vidaha refers to persons who have knowledge of the absolute truth. They can certainly understand knowledge without duality because they are on the spiritual platform. The absolute truth is known sometimes as Brahmana, sometimes as Paramatma, and sometimes as Bhagwan. Persons who are in knowledge of the truth knows that one who tries to approach the absolute simply by mental speculations will ultimately realize the impersonal Brahman. And one who tries to approach the absolute truth, yoga practice, one who tries to approach absolute through yoga practice will able to realize Paramatma, but one who has complete knowledge and spiritual understanding realize the spiritual form of Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead. Devotee of the personality of Godhead knows that Sri Krishna, the son of King of Raja, is the absolute truth. They do not discriminate between Sri Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. One who wants to separate the Lord's absolute name, form, and qualities from the Lord himself must be understood to be lacking in absolute knowledge. The pure devotee knows that when he chants the transcendental name Krishna, Sri Krishna is present as transcendental sound. He therefore chants with the full respect and veneration. When he sees the form of Sri Krishna, he does not see anything different from the Lord. If if one sees otherwise, he must be considered untrained in absolute knowledge. This lack of absolute knowledge is called Maya. One who is not Krishna conscious is ruled by the spell of Maya under the control of the duality in knowledge. In the absolute of manifestations of the Supreme Lord are non-dual, just as the multifarious forms of Vishnu. The controller of Maya are non-dual. Empiric philosophers who pursue the impersonal Brahman accepts accept only the knowledge that personality of living entity is not different from the personality of the Supreme Lord. And mystic yoga who try to locate the Paramatma accept only the knowledge that the pure soul is not different from the super soul. The absolute conceptions of a pure devotee, however, include all others. A devotee does not see anything except in its relationship with Krishna, and therefore his realization is the most perfect of all. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we see here that Prabhupada also gives an example, right? For example, for somebody who has never traveled by train, right? What does he do? He thinks, he understands from another person, okay, there is a train in the railway station. So from far he sees, there is smoke coming out, and then he thinks that, okay, maybe this smoke is only the train. But when he actually reaches the station, he sees that this train is coming from this platform to this platform. It has a form, etc. But then when he actually gets into the train, he gets the experience of being in the train, what it is like to be in the train. So as long as we don't have a real perception of the real absolute truth, we will think that the Lord is just an impersonal effulgence, right? We think that the Lord is simply situated in our heart as Paramatma. But we don't understand the absolute reality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead being a Supreme Person. Right? Ishvaraha Paramakrishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. Vigraha means personality. Right? And that is why Mayavadis and impersonalists, they don't want to give, they don't accept that the Lord has a body, because this body is giving us a lot of trouble. Right? When the body is giving us a lot of trouble, we think that how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead also undergo trouble? So we can perfect our life, and when we become Bhagavan ourselves, then we will not have a body. And this is a very wrong understanding. And Prabhupada actually defeats this understanding of the Mayavadis and the Brahmavadis, saying that the Lord is described as Nirguna, but it's not that he does not have any qualities. It is talking about how the Lord has transcendental qualities. The Lord does not have any material qualities. So thank you, devotees. We'll end our Chaitanya Charitamrita session here. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. So we can switch on our cameras. We'll do 2-3 minutes of Harinam Sankirtan and we'll end our session. Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 He Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gurudev, Gurudev, Nitai. Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. निरंतराज श्री चैतन्य चरितामृता की जय। श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौरा प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees. Tomorrow morning we'll meet at 4:30 a.m. for our Brahmurta chanting session, and then tomorrow is Saturday, so we will meet for the Brahmurta program. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki